we are now, this is the go-home show for the pay-per-view. So what's important here is that we have a think about what matches are going to make it to my pay-per-view. Big Show and Chris Masters is soured, that's fine. The rest of the card's looking decent. Triple H and Shawn Michaels and John Cena and Batista are obviously going to be my two main events. It seems like Edge and Randy Orton and Booker T and Carlito are going to go the distance, as is Rob Van Dam and Christian. So I feel like that's a pretty solid pay-per-view card. So all we really need to do is keep those guys in a decent fatigue level so that we can go all out with gimmicks on the pay-per-view. Pay-per-view hype. So on the go-home show, again, I've never looked into the science of this and what it actually does for me, but pay-per-view hype, I always, on the go-home show, the one before the pay-per-view, that does seem to make quite a big difference to what I get on the night. So what we're going to do is tag team match, and it's going to be Triple H and Batista, Evolution buddies, versus John Cena and Shawn Michaels. And that is our two main events for the pay-per-view, really. One for the world title, one not. Then the other tag team match is going to be our other kind of main event. So it's going to be Randy Orton and Edge, and it's going to be Booker T and Carlito. It seems like that's not going to sour at the last minute here. There's always a chance when I check it on the day of the pay-per-view that will have soured too. But that's those two matches locked in. And then, what was the other two? Rob Van Dam and Christian, and William Regal and Shelton. That's kind of an odd one. Ric Flair and Hurricane, because they're all cruiserweights. So yeah, because they're all cruiserweights, that seems like a sensible feud to kind of pair with them. So Rob Van Dam and Ric Flair. Christian is Rob Van Dam's rival. Christian and Ric Flair is feuding with Hurricane, and it seems like these two rivalries might be okay to give me a little cruiserweight 4-way or a cruiserweight 5-way if I include the champion himself. Chavo Guerrero is flying high, and he currently doesn't have any feud with anyone, which means I could pair him up with Scotty 2 Hotty again, at least in the short term. Just to give us a match to fill SmackDown tonight. Plus Scotty can have a cruiserweight title match. We've got William Regal. I've broken the Tajiri and Tajiri and Charlie Haas feud. So I just need to quickly check if I've got another one to fill the card. I think oh no, here we go. So Charlie Haas and Big Show, but Chris Masters and Big Show. But if I remember rightly, hadn't that soured? I think it had. Yes, it has. It's soured. That's a shame. That would have perfectly filled out the card, but we can work around that. That's okay. We'll go William Regal and Shelton Benjamin. And Charlie Haas and Tajiri are clear now. So I am kind of just restarting these feuds that had soured, which is a little bit lazy, really, that I'm not making the effort to vary it up. But given that that's still my tag team division, these four guys are probably going to be interacting with each other for the long haul. Pretty much the whole season, I'll just kind of juggle which ones are feuding with each other. So yeah, that's very much a pay-per-view building show, but I'm feeling happy enough with that. The only thing that could really go wrong here is if some of these rivalries sour, because this is my pay-per-view card now. Tajiri picks up the win, as does Shelton Benjamin. Scotty 2 Hotty is the new Cruiserweight champion. I always believed in you, Scotty. Rob Van Dam and the Hurricane, Carlito and Randy Orton, and Triple H and Batista picking up the wins. We're in a good spot for the pay-per-view, and I got a boost from the fans. Again, fantastic. There is a graph of the fan support, but I'm holding off until after the pay-per-view to actually have a look at it. So this is basically an unopposed week for me. I've got my pay-per-view card, but the Raw doesn't have anything. So we're going to put together a fantastic Judgment Day pay-per-view in Italy. Rivalries. That one has not soured. That one has. Damn, that's a shame. So has that one. That one hasn't. So that's still 2. That one's soured. That one's new. That one's soured. Man, that's a real shame. So my three big feuds haven't soured, and then the rest of the card is just going to be a hodgepodge of filling spots, which is that's a pity, but I can work around that. So in the main event, Batista, the World Heavyweight Champion. In fact, no, I need to make this something dramatic. So we're going to go with a last man standing match, and it's going to be Batista versus John Cena, in ending their epic 8-week rivalry for the World Heavyweight Championship in a last man standing match. Then we're going to do a Hell in a Cell match, and it's going to be Triple H and Shawn Michaels to end their epic 8-week rivalry. And then we're going to do Randy Orton versus Edge. Wasn't one of them the US champion? Or have I imagined that? No, Booker T is the United States champion, so we'll make that a triple threat, I think. We'll do... Oh, sorry, I'm pressing buttons all over the place. We're going to have a triple threat ladder match. And it's going to be Booker T defending his US title against heated rivals Edge and Randy Orton. So that's 3 pretty great main events, I would say, for this pay-per-view. 3 big gimmick matches, 3 rivalries that have been going 7-8 weeks each. That's decent. The rest of the card then becomes a bit of a filler. I think all the other ones had soured. Yeah, so that one's soured. That one I'm using. That one's soured. Okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. We can work with that. We're going to. So we think that Chavo and Scotty have started this new rivalry. So let's play into that a little bit. So we've got Chavo and Scotty and Rob Van Dam for the Cruiserweight Championship. We've got a singles. I don't really want to do singles matches. I guess I could just do like the Regal and Shelton feud has soured, which is a pity, but I kind of want the tag titles on the line on this pay-per-view. Maybe that's just a weird OCD thing, but because it's a pay-per-view, I want all 4 championships on the line. So let's do that. Let's do tag team championship match. I think that one's going to suffer a little bit in the star ratings because of the Regal Benjamin feud having soured, but we're not going to overthink it. And then I just need two decent popularity guys who are not already used up. Big Show and Carlito. So effectively starting a new rivalry between those two, but they're both reasonable enough levels of popularity. So yeah, that's I have to say, a pretty great show. I would watch the hell out of this pay-per-view. Batista, John Cena, last man standing for the world title. Shawn Michaels and Triple H in Hell in a Cell. Booker T, Edge and Randy Orton in a ladder match for the US title. Chavo, Scotty and RVD in just a normal triple threat match for the Cruiserweight title. Big Show versus Carlito and a tag team championship match opener. That's a pretty good show. I'm happy with that. So we're going to simulate. I know I talked about watching some of the pay-per-view matches. I have in between. Basically, I've edited out of the footage that you're currently seeing. I did actually play one of the matches on one of the previous shows, and the emulator struggled massively to run the game at full speed rather. It just couldn't quite handle the emulation. So I'm going to look into that and see if there's a way around that. To see whether I can get some better way of emulating these games so that I can actually play it. It doesn't struggle at all with the menus, as you can see, so GM mode might have to be just kind of text based for a little bit until I can figure out something with the emulator, but that's a story for another day. So Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, tag team champions. That's probably the end of that feud. I think what I'll try and do is find a new tag team for them to work with, and we'll put Regal and Tajiri in the US and Cruiserweight feud divisions respectively. Carlito defeats the Big Show. That's a bit of an upset, I would say. Chavo regains the Cruiserweight title. What a beast. RVD, he started so strong this season but fell off a little bit. Booker T retains the US title in what I'm sure was a fantastic ladder match with those three men. Triple H wins his rivalry with Shawn Michaels in a Hell in a Cell match. And finally, John Cena regains the World Heavyweight Championship from Batista in an epic last man standing match battle. I'm excited to see what the fan change is. Everyone hold your breath. Over 1 million. Oh yeah. I'm pretty delighted with that. I pumped my fist. You can't see me, but I did. That's incredible. What a pay-per-view. What a pay-per-view event. Considering that most of my rivalries had soured, I knocked that out of the park. I'm very, very happy with that. I've had a lot of practice at this game. I can't sing my praises too much. I've had a lot of practice playing this game. But I did now promise that we would have a look at the graph of the fans. So I think it's in reports, fan support. So there you see. So I can't zoom in, which is annoying, but you can see these big spikes. So you can see kind of the stuttery up and down week to week, and then you can see that big jump where Raw had their pay-per-view. You can see this huge spike where I've just had my pay-per-view where it's gone up by over 1 million fans. So that's pretty great. I'm very happy with that. And then that was the most recent SmackDown pay-per-view results. There you go, 2 5-star main events, 3.5 star, 2, 2, 1. That's perfect. That's what a perfect build, from a 1 star up to 2 5 stars in a row. Really, really pleased with that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this recording session there, and then next time I'll power through up to the Great American Bash and see how many videos I chop that up into. I don't want to listen to my own voice for a solid hour, so this will no doubt have been chopped up into a couple of different videos. Hopefully you all enjoyed getting a look at General Manager mode. If you're also a long-time fan of this mode, especially in the 2007-2008 games it was in, those two, yeah, leave some comments, give me your tips, your tricks, criticisms. Be nice though. I've got very thin skin, but yeah, anything you want to talk about, let me know how you're feeling about General Manager mode, and if you've got anything you'd like to see. I want to hear your own stories about great stuff you achieved as well. So yeah, if there's anyone out there watching these videos, and whether you're a fan or you just have questions or whatever, by all means get involved. So yeah, I will see you all in the next video, guys. Have a good one.